Good day to everyone. Thank you for being here with us. My name is Tammy Pisani, and I am the Queensland Membership Manager here at Osmine. I want to welcome everyone to today's Professional Services webinar. We're kicking off the first in the series. So I'm excited to welcome everyone to the Your Brand, Elevating Your Profile. Before we begin, I would like to, on behalf of Osmine and all of today's presenters, I would like to acknowledge that I am hosting this webinar from the lands of the Turrbal and Yagara people, and we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which we all meet today, and recognize the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander folks attending this webinar. Thanks for being with us today. This webinar series is designed to connect members and stakeholders with leading professionals who can provide valuable insights across various business disciplines. Today, we kick off the series with Your Brand, Elevating Your Profile, as I mentioned previously, which will be focusing on critical aspects of brand management and innovative marketing and branding strategies to position your organization as an industry leader. We will then continue this series with Your Legal Compass, offering guidance on managing legal compliance and protecting IP, for example, which I know is very important to our members, followed by Your Growth Path, exploring the role of training and development in enhancing organizational capabilities. All right, for today's format will consist of presentations from each of our member presenters, followed by a live Q&A session. If you do have a question during, or I should say, if you have a question for any of our presenters during the webinar, please type them into the Q&A interface, which is at the bottom of your screen. And if a question is directed at a specific presenter, please note that in the question. The webinar is being recorded and will be available, of course, on demand. So again, joining us today are representatives from 3 leading member companies who will share their strategies for building a strong brand identity and leveraging digital platforms to reach key stakeholders. Today's presenters are Andrew Kindon with Team Marketing Agency, Julie Belinge with Brand Foundry, and Hannah Frankish and Amelia Chalker with Ironbark Marketing. So that concludes the welcome and introductions. So without further ado, I would like to hand it over to Andrew, who is our first presenter today. Andrew, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Tammy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I just noticed on my profile picture that I'm wearing almost exactly the same outfit as I have in my profile picture. So how's that? Brand consistency wasn't intentional. So yes, I'd just like to quickly say thank you very much to Osmine for putting on this webinar, and for Tammy and Danielle for hosting it for us. And also thanks very much to the Osmine community for attending and for their interest in this presentation. So I thought that I would start off with a little bit of a quick overview of Team Marketing Agency, and go through a little bit of what we do and how that kind of ties into the topic as well. So team, some of you may know us. We've got quite a few clients that are part of the Osmine community. We're basically a full stack marketing agency that's dedicated to the mining and met sector. So everything that we do is based around developing brands and helping to develop business and audience growth for companies that are quite specifically in mining and mets. We're very scalable. We like to sort of think of ourselves, I suppose, as sounds a bit corny maybe, but a bit of a virtual door that you can walk through from your office. And when you go through that door, you have a whole entire marketing team available for you, basically with anything and everything from content writing to web development, strategic planning, 3D, video, and also data analytics, reporting, etc., etc. Our aim is really to unlock growth for our clients. So we're very aligned with business development. It's not just about the brand and content and social media with us. It's really more about increasing sales or increasing volume of service, etc. And I guess that the last thing really about how we work is that another terrible analogy, we're a bit of an all-you-can-eat buffet, let's say. So we work in a retainer-based system. So depending on what level you select, it's pretty much all you can eat. So we don't have any hours cap. So if your team includes design, content writing, marketing management, and web development, then you have full access to that team as though they were part of your own in-house team. So why team, I guess? Ben Johnson and myself, we've known each other for 18 to 20 years, and we've also been working in mining and METS, specifically in the marketing area of mining and METS for that whole entire time. So we really have cut our teeth in the sector. We've both worked in-house as global marketing managers for several companies. One of the things that we noticed whilst we were in those roles is that when you were having to outsource to an agency, there weren't many agencies that really understood what it was that you were talking about. So a lot of METS companies in particular are very, very niche and very, very technical. And also their clients' needs are very technical and specific as well. So to be able to articulate those needs to an agency, we found that we weren't really getting what we wanted as a result from marketing agencies. So that's where we saw the niche for us to set up team marketing. We really know what our audience in the mining and MET sector are looking for. We know what their clients are looking for. Quite often their clients are our clients, so we have a lot of in-depth knowledge into the industry. Just a little quick blurb about our clients. So you can see from this little excerpt here that we've got quite a broad collection of clients, or a broad stable of clients, everything from multi-billion-dollar market cap multinationals right down to technology startups and SMEs. And we deliver our services based on what the requirements are. So if you need strategy and marketing planning and marketing management, then we provide that. If you need boots on the ground to actually do the work and get projects delivered, then we can take a second seat and work underneath a marketing manager who's in-house. And just quickly, I've already mentioned there's a range of our services. And that's basically the overview of team agency for you. I rattled through that, so that's good. So, but coming down to what we're actually here to talk about today, I decided to call this this presentation Brand Basics. And in that, what I've tried to do is cover what I would go through with a client coming in for the first time if they were an SME or a company that hasn't really tended to their brand or didn't really see the value, but now they've decided that they want to start to develop their company profile and maybe even look into new audiences, new markets. So this is a little bit cliche there again, but everybody says this at the beginning of a discussion about brands. What is a brand? So I guess that the way I would put it is that the logo, the color schemes, the fonts, the style guide, that's almost like the tip of the iceberg, really. It's everything that happens underneath that tip that really is the guts of what your brand should be about. The easiest way to divide brand is in what you can control and what you can't control. Well, what is owned and what is earned. So owned is the easy part. even though it's fairly involved. If it's done well, it's really how you can control your company narrative. But it can only really be measured as being successful if it resonates with your audience. And that's where the earned part comes in. So earned brand is really around your company reputation. It's in the reviews that you get. It's in the perception of the quality of your services or your products. It's how you're perceived as either being a premium service provider or a cheap and cheerful service provider. Neither of those are bad things. It just depends if they resonate with what you have defined your internal brand to be. And it's really around nurturing trust as part of the process of getting that earned brand awareness. So the parts that you can control is really the owned brand, and there's a process, I suppose, that you go through to develop that owned brand, which is really around defining what you do, really. Why are you there? What gets you out of bed? What gets you to the company or to your office? And that's really your core mission. So defining what it is that you do and how that impacts your clients, that's pretty much your core mission. And second to that, I suppose, would be this I've kind of put into a different way of looking at it, what you can embrace and what you can change. Those really equate to your company values. So the things that really resonate with you, that reflect your values and reflect the things that you want to make different in the world or in the community or within the industry, they're your core values. And I guess thirdly, what is it that would make your target audience choose you over a competitor at a macro level? So that really is your value proposition. So knowing the value that you provide to your clients is key. I'll get onto that a little bit later on. And the last little thing that I put there is really around skeletons in the closet. So I put that in there because really one of the questions that I ask a lot of my clients when we first start with them is, what are the skeletons in your closet? And by that, what I mean is when you hand over your business card, when you're networking or you're at an event, what's the one thing that you're just dreading that potential client is going to go and look for? Is your website not quite up to spec? Is your collateral too technical or maybe not technical enough? Was your last social media post in 2023 when you claimed that you were about to embark on a new social media campaign that never eventuated? So those kinds of things are the things that we like to address, really. Getting to know what your company value proposition is, knowing what your core mission is, and then looking at the customer journey and really trying to find out the parts of it that need to be addressed the most. And after that, that's when you start to build your brand, really, with all those pieces in place. So this is fairly basic and it's probably fairly obvious to most people, but the key to effective branding is to be clear and uncomplicated. It doesn't help to be too clever about things. Critically, to be consistent, and then also to be scalable, which I find a lot of the time, especially when it comes to that visual aspect of branding, people tend to create a brand and then they lock it down, and then they realize that they can't really do all of the things that they want to apply it to because they've got a very strict set of guidelines around how they can say things or what they can do or how they can represent themselves. So it's better to make it scalable at the very beginning and look at all different ways that you would want to be presenting yourself in different scenarios, but then lock it down. So once you've created that scalability within your brand, then you need to be able to get in there, be critical with it, lock it down, because as you grow, if your brand starts to disintegrate through little rogue branding activities that you may lose control over, that tends to damage your earned brand perception over time. Okay. Oops. Go back. So that's really at 100 miles an hour about how you develop a brand. Being market ready, which is the other critical part about this, is all about making sure that when you do go to market, apart from the brand and your values and your mission statement and everything, you have a consistent voice. You have a messaging matrix, let's say, that you can hand around to your whole entire company. You can put it throughout all of your collateral and all of your channels so that everything you say resonates with the same messaging. There's nothing worse than having somebody go to an event or go to a client meeting and somebody will very simply say, "What do you do?" And they can't tell them in simple terms. So that consistency of voice is very simple to achieve, but quite critical as well. Pardon me. And the other thing is to know the market that you're in. Even if you've been in the market for 20 years and you think you know the market, you should always research the market. Markets change. What the customers' needs are today are definitely not what they were 15 years ago, and definitely they'll change very, very soon again. Look at what your competitors are doing and really look at how they are impacting on your market as well. I've got the 5-minute warning, I think. And then positioning. Look back at your values proposition and look at if that's resonating throughout your collateral. You really, going back to that brand reputation and brand expectation, you need to define what you are. Are you the Rolls Royce or are you the Volkswagen Jetta? And other than that, you need to get out there and get into your channels. So like your brand, your channels are owned, bought, and earned as well. So you start with the easy ones. Owned channels are things that you have direct access to that belong to you. So your website, your social media channels. Bought speaks for itself. It's basically what you pay to capitalize on. So reaching audiences through SEM, through paid socials. And earned, that takes a bit more effort. That's through getting people to talk about you for you. So getting your customers, getting people in the industry to really sing your praises for you. And additional to all of that, get some good tools. So have a good CRM, get a good way of measuring the success of all of your efforts. Because if you're spending money on marketing, you need to know when it's giving you a good return on investment and when it's not. Put down the bottom here, compliance and certification, just because that's something that people don't think about very often, but for the industry that we're all in, it's critical. So if you have certification, people need to know about it. If you are compliant, people need to know about it. If you're not, you need to be, because that's the way that people can be given immediate trust and have a reliability and expectation of service outcomes. So that is a third party way of acknowledging your capabilities. I'll rattle through the last few slides here. Come on. Okay, so now what? So strategies for success. Really, especially with SMEs, everybody's fairly thinly strapped. It's much easier to map out what you're doing with regards to marketing so that you don't need to think about it on the fly. So map out what products you've got released or that are coming up for release, what's coming up in the content plan, events and articles, milestones, basically anything and everything that you would like to get out there. If you map it out before time, that way you won't be panicking and thinking about what you're going to be putting out in your socials day in, day out. One of the key things I say to all of my clients is be famous, be the thought leader. So that's all about being generous with your knowledge and skills, sharing in forums, LinkedIn articles, sending out regular press releases. A lot of people don't realize that their knowledge is intrinsic to their product or service, and that people pay money for those products and services. So they will be very interested to hear your views on the industry and the technologies and the specific niche that you work in. And the other thing, of course, is to network. Know where your clients are, know where they're going to be, know how you can access them. I always say to my clients that deals are never made between companies, they're made between people. So you need to make that face-to-face introduction to people. They need to know who you are, and they need to resonate with you. I always say that if you're buying a car, you often buy the car not just on the specifics around the car, but around the people that you're buying the car from as well. I think I'm being given a little notice. How much time do I have left, Tammy?
You're actually a bit over time. So if you were ready to wrap it up, that would be great.
Yep, well, that was pretty much it. The only other thing I was wanting to say is to be adaptable. And that's probably the most critical thing, is to just make sure that as the market changes, you're aware of it. You're always researching what's happening in the market, because otherwise you can very quickly get left behind. Thank you very much, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew. I particularly liked your point about the owned and earned brand identity. I think that's a really important designation to make when you're thinking about your brand. All right. Yeah. Next up, we have Julie with Team, who is going to present next. All right, Julie, you're up. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Osman, for the opportunity to speak with you today. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julie Belinge, and my business is the Brand Foundry. Today, I'll be talking to you about sustainability and its intersection with marketing, and why right now we are at a turning point when it comes to brands in the mining and met sector. Oops. Sorry, there's a bit of a lag with my slides. Okay, so more specifically, I'll be talking about why sustainability is a must-have element to showcase your brand in the best light, how you can incorporate sustainability into your business and marketing, and finally, what to look for when incorporating sustainability into your brand narrative. But before I begin, I just wanted to talk a little bit about me. I am a brand designer. I have been working in brand management and advertising for the last 20 years, and I specialize in sustainability. Now, I am absolutely passionate about ESG, which, if you don't know already, stands for environment, social, and governance. I am a fully qualified graphic designer. I hold also certifications in ESG and social performance from AusIMM, and in sustainable marketing from the Institute for Sustainability at the University of Cambridge. I'm also the author of Mind the Gap, which is a publication that specifically addresses the sustainability challenges within the mining industry. So from a branding perspective, I've become really aware of the crucial role that ESG plays, particularly in industries like mining. So as you can see here, the mining sector is one of a few industries that has contributed to the environmental challenges that we face today. In fact, all the industries on this slide here show that they account for 85% of global emissions through their operations and products. But the really interesting fact is that the mining sector also have a huge part to play in the solution to global warming. So metals like lithium, cobalt, rare earth elements are really vital for producing everything we need. So electric vehicles, renewable energy technologies, and energy storage systems. So without mining, we just can't produce the components we need to achieve a sustainable future. So as a result, mining companies have a real opportunity here to shift from being part of the problem to becoming a key driver in global sustainability. And this is why I think we really live in such an interesting time with 2030 just around the corner. So why sustainability is a must-have element to showcase your brand in the best light. So I like to use the analogy of the carrot and the stick. So on one side, you have the stick, which represents the investors who are placing more and more pressure on mining companies to demonstrate sustainable practices. On the other side, you have the carrot, which says that if you address climate change in your business will be worth more. And it's definitely accurate for the mining industry. So the more sustainable a mining company is, the better it is for everyone. So this in turn extends to their supply chain as well, which are the businesses in the met sector. So we know that already, some of us, most of us, but one thing is new on the horizon, if you didn't know already, it's mandatory reporting. And this will come into effect from January 2025, so just around the corner. So why has reporting become mandatory? So one of the reasons is that there was just not enough companies that were committed to net zero. So in fact, while more than a third of the world's largest companies in the world have committed to net zero targets, only 7% were on track to succeed. And that was in 2022. In 2023, this number increased to 18%, which is an improvement, but it's still not good enough. So as a result, ESG reporting has become mandatory, and it's taken effect in Australia in only a few months. So how does that work? Well, it will be phased over a few years. So whether or not you are required to report depends on your turnover, your number of employees, and total assets value. So if you look at the table here, you need to meet 2 of the 3 criteria to be eligible for mandatory reporting. So initially, it will only be a fraction of businesses who will be required to report, but in the following years, more businesses and smaller businesses will be affected. So what's really important to understand here is that even if your business is not required to report, you will still be affected by this shift from a branding and marketing perspective. Because mining companies have higher sustainability standards to meet, they will also demand that their supply chains have similar sustainability standards. So for met businesses, if sustainability was not on your radar yet, now is a good time to shift. It's about first making the changes required within your business, then incorporating it into your brand narrative and marketing strategy. So how can you incorporate sustainability in your business and marketing? We propose a 3-step process, which is very simple. Step 1, engage an ESG consultant. So if you haven't done so already, now is the time to assess your business sustainability performance. An ESG consultant can help you evaluate where your business stands and assist you with putting together all the governance frameworks you need. So basically, they're there to set the foundation. Step 2 is adapt your narrative. So once you have your sustainability strategy in place, consider revising your brand narrative and creating a branded sustainability focus piece. And that can be in the form of a voluntary sustainability report. But if that feels too daunting for you, that's fine. You can just start with, let's say, a small publication that simply highlights your commitment. And this can be in the form of a brochure, a capability statement, or a page on your website. Step 3, communicate, communicate, communicate. So by communicating your commitment to of sustainability to your stakeholders, you demonstrate that you are one step ahead of your competitors. And it also shows that you're able to meet the demands of a more sustainable supply chain. What to look out for when incorporating sustainability into your brand narrative? Well, one thing to be very wary about is the growing scrutiny around greenwashing. Sorry, my slides are a little bit delayed. Greenwashing, there you go. Greenwashing means making misleading claims about your sustainability efforts. And this can lead to very hefty fines for your business. And that is from tens of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars. So, and it also significantly damages your brand reputation. I have some examples here for you. And greenwashing can be voluntary, but it can also happen by accident. So it's really important to be careful in your brand narrative. And so I put together a few tips for you how to avoid greenwashing. So things like being very vague in your messaging or using too much jargon in the language you use, putting too much emphasis on a very small green component of your business, also saying that you are endorsed by this green third party when you are not really, using graphics or images that are exaggerating the green impact of your assets. So for example, here we have the little car with little flowers that comes out of the exhaust pipe, which is a little bit of an exaggeration. So all of this can be very damaging for your business. So always ensure your claims are accurate, well documented, and written in a way that anyone can understand. So how can we help at the Brand Foundry? Well, we offer a range of services to support your sustainability journey. We can help with your brand strategy. So we help align your brand with your sustainability goals and actions. And we work closely with ESG experts to ensure that your positioning is both authentic and effective. We also do graphic design, and I'd say one of our flagship services is sustainability reports design, but we also design capability statements and all sorts of other corporate publications and marketing collateral. And finally, we can help with your communications. So we execute brand awareness campaigns across various platforms, and that can be in the form of videos, social media campaigns, email marketing campaigns, all this to help you get your message out there. So whether you need a complete rebrand, an ESG report, or guidance on incorporating sustainability into your brand narrative, we are here to help. So that is all for me. I'm very short and sweet. So just to conclude, I invite you to download Mind the Gap just by following the QR code on this slide. It will give you an overview of the current sustainability climate in the mining industry, and also give you some practical tips you can apply in your business today. Also, feel free to follow our Brand Foundry page on LinkedIn. We provide really useful content on sustainability every Wednesday morning. Also, feel free to give me a call, send me a message or an email. I really look forward to connecting with you all. So that's it for me, Tammy and Daniel. So thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to supporting your brands in this new era of sustainability. So that's it for me. Thank you so much. You are muted, Tammy.
Thank you so much, Julie. Really fantastic insights into how to incorporate ESG and sustainability goals into your brand. Thank you for that. All right, next up, I would like to welcome Hannah Frankish and Amelia Chalker, directors with Iron Spark Marketing, and they are going to present for you now. All right, ladies, over to you.
Thank you, Tammy, and to Osmine for hosting the webinar. I'm Amelia Chalker. I'm one of the directors of Iron Spark Marketing, and I'll be joined today by my fellow director, Hannah Frankish. We'll be discussing strategies to enhance brand visibility and reputation in the mining and METS sectors. Just a little bit about Iron Spark. So Iron Spark is a boutique consultancy specializing in the strategic direction and implementation of marketing activities, clients in the energy, resources, healthcare, and technology sectors. We work with mining and METS companies across Australia and abroad. Today's presentation, we're going to be talking about how mining and METS companies can elevate their brand profile and reputation. And we're looking at three distinct key areas. So the first one is deepen stakeholder engagement. The second one is optimize digital presence. And the third one is showcase innovation and sustainability. And in this presentation, we'll explore each of these areas and we'll highlight real-world examples to showcase these key areas. So, building strong relationships with key stakeholders, it's really understanding who our stakeholders are. So in that little graph over there, we're looking at the government, investors, partners, customers, community. So it's crucial that you maintain strong relationships with your stakeholders, and it's essential to engage with stakeholders regularly. This could include periodic updates through newsletters, meetings, or briefings. And engagement isn't just about pushing out information, it's about fostering dialogue. So encourage stakeholders to share their thoughts, concerns, and suggestions is really important. Also, don't wait for stakeholders to come to you with issues. So proactively reach out to keep them informed and involved, and especially during any critical projects or changes. We're also looking at understanding stakeholder needs and aligning brand messaging. So understanding what stakeholders value most requires thorough research. So this might include surveys, interviews, or analysing trends within your stakeholder groups. Once you understand their needs, tailor your brand messaging to align with these priorities. This could involve highlighting aspects of your businesses that resonate with stakeholders, such as your commitment to safety, sustainability, and innovation. And then be cultural sensitive. So especially in a global industry like mining and metals, it's important to be culturally aware. So understand the cultural context of your stakeholders can help in crafting messages that are both respectful and effective. Also show how your brand's offerings directly address stakeholder concerns or contribute to their success. This makes your messaging more relevant and impactful and reinforcing the relationship. And lastly, gathering and acting on stakeholder feedback. So it's not enough just to collect feedback. It's crucial to actively listen. So understand the underlying concerns or aspirations that stakeholders are expressing. Once feedback is received, respond promptly. So whether it's implementing suggestions or addressing concerns or simply acknowledging the input, timely action shows that you value their contribution. By using the feedback to drive, will help to drive continuous improvement within your company. And this feedback will also help with closing the loop, which helps to build trust and encourages further engagement. One of our real world examples was with MEC. So MEC, they're now called MEC, formerly known as MEC Mining. They are a mining a global technical consulting firm that offers a comprehensive range of services spanning the entire project lifecycle. They engaged Ironbark Marketing to conduct market research, and we helped look at their database and looked at current ad hoc lapsed clients or new prospects. The qualitative research was undertaken by telephone, and we interviewed middle to senior managers. Within the survey, the main objective was to really get clarity around MECs, to how respondents perceived MEC by looking at their customer experience, their consultancy engagement process, as well as the range of services, value proposition, and industry positioning. So the overall summary that really helped and confirmed this for MEC was the market confirmed that most of the customers were satisfied with their experience. Also looked at promoting comprehensive services. So market research suggests that the promoting MEC's full service offering could be beneficial in obtaining additional work. And as MEC is a consultancy firm, the market research actually highlighted the importance of retaining and expanding MEC's pool of highly skilled consultants. So this focus is crucial for capitalizing on current market conditions and ensuring continued success and growth. MEC used this information to enhance their customer experience by tailoring their marketing strategy. We refined their messaging and helped build brand awareness across the industry, both from a sales and talent perspective, nationally and internationally. The second thing we're looking at is optimizing digital presence for visibility. So leveraging content marketing, SEO, and social media. Content marketing nowadays is really crucial and important in a marketing strategy for companies. So developing and share valuable, relevant content that speaks directly to your audience. This could include blog posts, white papers, case studies, or video content. In this particular slide, which is being provided by Content Marketing Institute, and they released the 2024 outlook for B2B customers. And it really highlights that nearly 3/4, 72% say they use generative AI, but 61% say the organization lacks guidelines for its use. Content produced the best results were case studies, customer stories, videos, thought leadership ebooks, white papers, and articles. What was really interesting is that the market has cited a lack of resources at a top situational challenge. So this is an area where our business can provide support to marketing teams within organizations who need assistance with the delivering content creation. And then we look at another key component is SEO, so search engine optimization, on-page and off-page SEO, and then social media, so platform selections, ensuring you've got the right platforms where your stakeholders are most active. LinkedIn is obviously a key platform for B2B engagement in the mining and mets sectors. Another important aspect, and we'll share some ideas with you, is email marketing and also participating in industry events and awards to boost credibility. So it's really important to actually promote yourself in industry events, companies. So looking at recognizing innovation, sustainability, or excellence in services, winning or even being shortlisted for these awards enhances your brand's reputation and provides a third-party validation of your efforts. And lastly, before I hand over to Hannah, is awards and recognitions serve as a powerful endorsements. So increasing stakeholder trust and making your brand more attractive to potential clients and partners is essential. I'll now hand over to Hannah, who will take you through some real-world examples.
Thanks, Amelia. My name's Hannah Frankish. I'm one of the other directors of Ironbark Marketing. I'm just going to take you through our real-world example of digital presence and campaigns. So Aggreko is a global leader in providing energy solutions that help businesses grow and communities thrive. So they're one of our clients. And with the mining sector increasingly becoming more focused on its ESG responsibilities, Aggreko wanted to boost brand presence in industry, especially in the areas of greener energy, so making miners more aware of their sustainable and renewable energy solutions. And also investment partnership. So that's making miners aware that they are a investment partner that partners from the beginning of a project across the life of mine. So Ironbark was engaged to develop a marketing communication strategy with the objectives of increasing brand awareness in the global mining sector, gaining authority and positioning Aggreko as a thought leader and innovator in that space, elevating Aggreko's brand perception with sustainability and innovation messaging, and positioning Aggreko as a leading partner for flexible power, cooling and heating solutions in the mining industry. So some of the digital content and channels we used to implement the strategy were a really significant size white paper that we entitled Mining's Mission to Net Zero. We used digital campaigns to drive traffic to this landing page and to obviously download the white paper. We kept it gate kept, given that it was such a significant resource. So we actually captured leads from here. So first name, last name, email to actually download the complete white paper. But obviously we gave a good taste of what was included in the white paper on the landing page to make sure people would be interested. And then we had these social media banner images. Oh, sorry, I just realized I haven't clicked over onto the next slide. Sorry. Social media banner images. Some of them were paid campaigns and some were organic that directed traffic to this landing page, which is on the left here. To actually obviously get people to the landing page and then ultimately download the white paper and capture their lead information. So here's some more examples of social banners that we used. So we broke off chapters of the white paper and broke it down into sections. So what each of the banners was about one of the sections of the white paper. And then we use these infographics as well to get some interest going in the content. And so there we had the global energy transition and hydrogen's role in mining decarbonisation, another example. And this was the actual campaign here. So just gives you a little overview of what was involved. So obviously the website, landing page going live, emails that went out, infographics, social media banners and posts, paid campaigns and organic, as I said, and that's the second lot there. So here's some of the, we actually also, sorry, just skipping forward. So we also ran a PR campaign to support this, and we broke each of the releases down into some of the sections of the white paper, or in fact, topical newsworthy things that related to the white paper. And so here you'll see some of the coverage we got for the first release, the results. All right, the second release here, some results. I'll just skip through these. Sorry, I did way too many slides. So some comprehensive examples of things that they did with some of their mining customers. So Agrico's world-class gas plant to slash CO2 emissions at a gold mine. That was one of the examples. Some more here. Agrico releases top energy trends for guiding miners to net zero. Agrico launches world's lowest emitting modular thermal power generation system. So that was another case study example. And then Agrico looks back at pioneering some big changes for mine power and cooling. So that was an anniversary one that they undertook. And so that all supported their digital campaign with some PR as well, which was nice, and it got some significant coverage in global mining industry media, as you would have seen there. That was just a taste of it. There was more. So yeah, the final point of our presentation is showcasing commitment to safety, innovation, and sustainability. So as global focus shifts towards environmental conservation and social responsibility, stakeholders, including investors, regulators, customers, and communities, are increasingly demanding transparency and accountability from companies regarding their sustainability practices. So for mining companies, which often operate in environmentally sensitive areas, have significant social and economic impacts, showcasing safety, innovation, and sustainability is essential for several reasons. It builds trust and transparency. You've got to meet the regulatory and market expectations. You need to enhance reputation and competitive advantage, and also drive continuous improvement and innovation. So in terms of highlighting innovative solutions, when you think about innovation, it goes beyond new technology. It actually includes novel approaches to solving industry challenges, optimizing processes, and enhancing efficiency. You want to emphasize how your company's innovative solutions address specific industry pain points, such as reducing operational costs, improving safety, or enhancing product quality. You want to use case studies and success stories. Those real world examples really make it much more impactful. And you want to use visual aids for those as well. So before and after charts, images, short video clips, etc., to make it more engaging and impactful. In terms of continuous improvement, you want to highlight your company's commitment to continuous innovation by discussing ongoing R&D efforts or partnerships with technology providers. And you want to show how your company is staying ahead of industry trends and preparing for future challenges by investing in innovation. In terms of environmental stewardship, you want to outline your company's commitment to reducing its environmental footprint. So this could be initiatives such as reducing emissions, minimizing waste, conserving water, or protecting biodiversity. And you want to provide specific examples for these as well. In terms of social responsibility, you want to discuss your company's efforts to positively impact the communities in which you operate, and you include concrete examples of that as well. And how you also, for compliance and standards, how you are adhering to industry standards and certifications. Finally, you want to appeal to conscious stakeholders. You need to understand their expectations and deliver on those. You want to be transparent in your communication. It's really important here to be honest about the challenges and setbacks as well as successes, because stakeholders value authenticity and are more likely to trust a company that is open about its journey towards sustainability. And you want to build long-term trust. So explain how showcasing your commitment to sustainability and innovation helps build long-term trust with conscious stakeholders. So when they see that your company is genuinely committed to making a positive impact, they're more likely to support and advocate for your brand. So I'll go into the final example just quickly. Sorry, Tammy, I'll be quick, I promise. The real world example here is Coronado Global Resources, which is a leading international producer of high quality met coal, which is an essential element in the production of steel. As the tagline says, steel starts here. So Ironbark was engaged to refresh their brand collateral and effectively communicate Coronado's commitment to safety, innovation, and sustainability. And some of those activities included a website refresh, case study development, sustainability reports, AGM highlight videos. Oh, sorry, I realized that hasn't gone through. Here we go. Abstract submissions for mining technology and safety events, award nominations, etc. So here we have just a little website teaser video. So you'll see here that we went through a massive refresh of their website. So it had much more fresh design and improved navigation. There was updated content. This is the news and media page, but there was also new case studies throughout the website. We made sure it was responsive across all devices. Here's an example of some of the pages. And yeah, they were really happy with the outcome. And obviously your website's a living asset, so we're continually updating this with fresh content as well. This is the sustainability landing page on the website. So we helped them to develop that report for this year and the year previous as well. So yeah, we assisted in identifying, crafting case studies for inclusion in the reports, as well as conducting readability reviews and editing of the content and graphic and web design to bring it all to life. So that was a 2022 report. And these are some of the case studies here. So I won't bore you with all the details at the moment, but there's some really impressive active initiatives that they're running there to bolster their innovation, safety and sustainability. So you can look through that at your leisure later. This was the AGM video that we're not going to have time to have a quick look at. So yeah, that was just the animated logo there that we created to bring to life the Steel Starts Here tagline. And then that was playing when Douglas was presenting at the AGM. So it had a bit of industry advocacy at the beginning about the critical nature of met coal for steel, and then also then went into the results and things. And finally, this was the presentation abstracts and award nominations. So yeah, Coronado had 2 winning solutions recognised at the Queensland Mining Awards this year. Plant Advisor, which harnesses AI to optimise coal processing capabilities in the innovation category, and the Dragline Proximity Awareness System in the safety category. And then there's just examples here of the QMIHS 2023 Innovation Awards, where also the Dragline Proximity Awareness System was recognised. That's on the top right, and Blair Whitney presented at the conference associated with that. And also here at a safety industry forum where Tracy Hennig and Teal Hamilton, who are 2 safety leaders in the business, presented. So yeah, that's it from me. That's those examples to showcase highlighting safety, innovation and sustainability. And yeah, just going to hand over for questions.
All right, thank you, Hannah and Amelia. That's really great presentation, and especially love to see some of those real world case study success examples. Fantastic. All right, so now it's time for the Q&A. You still have time to submit your questions if you haven't already. I do believe that we have some already to start us off. We have a question, let's see here, from Melanie with Resource Industry Network. Melanie would like to know, a large chunk of her digital marketing strategy is organic social media content. Can you speak on this, as in what are some of the top tips or suggestions to grow channels and engagement for MET's service-based businesses in a regional area? So perhaps maybe focus on that right there in regional areas. I guess we can go with Hannah or Amelia if you want to take that one. And I'd also invite all of our speakers to turn their cameras back on.
Hi. Yeah, so I've actually responded to Melanie's question in the chat there, so I can reiterate some of my points there. But yeah, I think it's really important to choose the right platforms. Obviously, LinkedIn's really important for B2B. You've got to create really good content as well, so it's got to be really relevant to your audience. It's got to be add value to them, be of value. And also it's really good to include interactive content, so it's not just like posting out a one-way, you actually want to engage in some dialogue and get a conversation started. Yeah, just have a look at what content you want to develop in that space, what's helpful to your audience. It has to be educational and engaging, so it's really good, people want to actually learn and get involved with things. And yeah, as I said, LinkedIn targeting is really powerful for B2B, obviously being a regional based company. So you can target down to that specific area, and you can target down to not just industry, but also job title, seniority. There's really excellent targeting available to be able to reach those audience members who are not already followers of your company page.
Yeah, fantastic. Would have been any of our other presenters today like to add to that? Andrew?
Yeah, put my hand up. Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. Obviously, Resource Industry Network, yeah, budgets are probably something that's critical with any industry body. We work with WASMA, which is the West Australian School of Mines Alumni Association, and obviously they have tight budgets. You'd prefer to be making money from subscriptions and memberships and conferences than spending money on advertising. But what they do have is a lot of members, and obviously they want more members, but the members they have are engaged. They're like Osmine. Everybody wants to be a part of this community. Everybody wants to share. Use them to broadcast your content, because obviously with LinkedIn in particular, it's compounding networking. So the more people that share your stories or write stories about you, for you, or put together a testimonial, it goes to their network, it goes to their network's network. So that's a way of organically accessing larger audiences. Unfortunately, organic used to be fantastic. You just had to be consistent and regular and put out relevant content. Once social media companies started making money out of advertising, they realized they actually were better off to slow that organic growth down a little bit, just so that people felt inclined to spend money. So you've got to kind of use little side doors here and there to get that same traction if you don't want to spend money on paid socials.
Fantastic, thank you. And again, another question, I'll open it up to whoever would like to answer it. How often should a company review its brand and collateral?
Don't want to speak out of turn again. So I personally think that brand does need to be dynamic. It doesn't need to be changed every 1 or 2 years, but it does need to be relevant. And it's, for me, I mean, if you want to put a number on it, I think that every 5 years you should be looking seriously at your brand and critically assessing it compared to design trends and industry trends. And also looking at what your competitors are doing. Once people start going down specific looks and feels, like the folded paper of maybe 3 or 4 years ago, that's no longer as relevant as it used to be. Yeah, I think 5 years, but always being vigilant to see what's changing around you.
Okay. Sorry,
Oh,
I think
can I-
I think Julie wanted to say something as well.
Yes, thanks, Andrew.
Great, please.
Yes, I agree with you. 5 years is usually my so the magic number, but it really depends on how your brand was built to begin with. So if it was not professionally designed or well put together to begin with, then it might be earlier than that. And on the other side, also, if it has been very, very well put together, it might be more than 5 years. So, but usually 5 years is a good average. And my sort of my red flag is usually when your assets starts to look inconsistent. So websites, logos, signage, when you start to use different colors, different images, when your capability statement and your proposal don't look very consistent, that's probably a time to do an audit on your assets and review your brand strategy as a whole.
Thank you for that, Julie. We have time for one more question. I think this is an interesting one because we all are on LinkedIn. And how do you feel, or what are your thoughts on the idea of people being dissatisfied with LinkedIn turning into more of a Facebook? And do you think LinkedIn is still reaching the right level of people? What are your thoughts on that? Would anyone like to have a go at that?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Amelia.
I think LinkedIn is actually still really relevant, particularly in this sector. It is becoming more Facebooking, but I think we need to ensure that the right messaging is being conveyed with what you're promoting. Audiences are still going to be there, and I'm not saying we need to dismiss LinkedIn. We actually have to utilize LinkedIn and all other different channels to capture our stakeholders. In the accounting world, Twitter is actually really well known, but I do think that we need to ensure that we are, as businesses, we're promoting the right type of content that will engage those stakeholders to stay on LinkedIn too. So it's really educational and informative too. I don't know, Hannah, if you want to add anything to that.
I was just going to say that we have found in METS and mining that obviously site-based professionals are checking LinkedIn typically, checking LinkedIn less than C-suite or head office type professionals. Having said that, with these campaigns, some of the targeting that you can do, we're still finding that we're getting the results. So they clearly are still engaging with the platform, with LinkedIn. So we don't feel, yes, admittedly, you'll see in your feed nowadays more conversational, more short videos, more type of content that feels more casual or feels, as you said, more Facebooky. But I feel like overall people are still, well, a lot of people are still using it in the more traditional way. And I feel that there's not necessarily that much harm, depending on the context and depending on the content, of using LinkedIn in a slightly different way. I've seen professionals engage in really interesting conversations by starting with something a little bit less conventional. So it was a good way of getting attention on a specific topic. So yeah, I don't think they're getting alienated overall, but yeah, I do recognize that some of the content is changing. I think, Andrew, I'll pass over to you.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. I completely agree. Look, I think that any content is of a particular quality is going to add value. I remember seeing lots of comments probably 2 or 3 years ago that everyone's saying, oh, that's not the kind of thing that you should put on LinkedIn. That's a Facebook kind of a thing. It's only going to get as far as it is relevant. And if the content is being engaged with, even if it's being engaged with in a negative fashion, it's actually going to get more traction. And I think that LinkedIn, like any social network, is a community-based enterprise, and people do tend to self-regulate because you don't want to be putting out content that's going to tarnish you or your company's reputation. So if somebody picks up something and says, well, a picture of your kid's birthday party, not LinkedIn content, although I think that would be fantastic LinkedIn content personally, then they probably won't do it again. And people do tend to resonate with content that addresses issues that they deal with day in, day out, whatever the niche may be, and that's the kind of content that seems to rise to the surface. And I think it's good quality, and I think people enjoy it and get something out of it. On the point of the types of people that look for LinkedIn as a news source, the other time that the non-C-suite audience is looking is when they're looking for work. So if you have recruitment pushes, obviously LinkedIn is a really good place to generate that almost destination marketing approach to showing your company as a good, lively place to work. That's
Great, thank you. Thank you all so much for your contributions today. I'm afraid that is all the time that we have for questions. And if I did see that there was at least one more question that didn't get answered, so we'll definitely put the team in contact with you to answer that question directly. Thank you all for being here today. The next webinar as part of our professional services series is Your Legal Compass, and that's going to be on Wednesday, October 2nd, and that'll be followed by Your Growth Path, and that'll be on Tuesday, November 26th. And you can register for both of those webinars at ostmind.com.au. I would like to give, again, a really big thank you to Andrew, Julie, Hannah, and Amelia for sharing your expertise today. Some really fantastic insights and really just the importance of branding. Thank you to everyone who attended, and we look forward to welcoming you to our next webinar. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much.